Hello everyone, I'm Jared Z. Today I'm in a buddy studio trying to see how far I could take a GFX 100 file and push it beyond the human limits of imagination. We've got the GFX 100 matched with the 120 macro and the Fuji extender. So we are trying to get as close as we can while also get as much details, as much sharpness, and be able to blow this sucker up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do two different shots. We're gonna do one of the 100 megapixel just straight up files, which are already awesome. It's uncompressed raw. And then we're gonna do a PixelShift, which takes 16 photographs, combines them together for a 400 megapixel version. And we are doing so at a level that makes it really hard to shoot this thing, especially with PixelShift. If there's any kind of movement, we're gonna get a tons of blur. So we have got a remote trigger on here and we are set up to do this. So I'm gonna do manual focus and then I'm gonna kind of look carefully to see when the lens stops shaking to get the photo at that moment. Okay, so I think I got everything steady. Now we're just gonna take the first still shot. And then we're gonna go to PixelShift. So I'm just gonna go to the dry mode, go down to PixelShift. It's gonna take a series of 16 shots as quick as it can. And then those shots then need to be put together in the PixelShift combiner, which we'll do here in a few minutes. So you might be wondering, why do I wanna test the limits of human imagination when I talk about this kind of stuff? And me and my buddy who I work for and help him do projects, he does really large photographs. And I'm talking, the size of walls sometimes. And so our goal is to try to stretch these files. The idea is how good is the PixelShift, which takes a lot of time and effort, versus how are the results of taking a single GFX 100 file and then up-resing that single file. And so that's what we got here. So we have, this one is the DNG file, and this one comes in at image size 77 by 58, just natively at 300 resolution, which is an absolute ton. This is remember, PixelShift combines these and gives us more accurate color, and it also gives us around 405 megapixels. And a lot of times what Kurt and I do, we print at like 100, and that would give us 232 inches, and this would be an incredible, absolutely amazing print at 232 inches. And so this is the PixelShift one. If we look at the single image that I went in and did a couple passes of detail and sharpening and worked on the file a little bit before I up-resed it using Photo AI, what you could do is you can go and look at the image size here and say that this one is quite a bit bigger. So the other one doesn't stretch quite as far. So remember, this is the single file that we're just taking and up-resing after some passes of work. And this is like a 700 megapixel file. And if we go down to the resolution 100, we can get above we can get a 320 inches wide. So that is, again, that's pretty amazing. But the whole idea is which one actually looks better. And here's where it gets tricky. The PixelShift file, definitely, I think the color looks better. And I'm not saying I can't do a better job here. I could probably warm this up a little bit more. But I think one of the advantages of PixelShift is that you get more accurate, more rich, just better color overall. And if we go into 100%, we'll zoom all windows and we'll look at the PixelShift file. That is the, I take it from the Fuji, it does 16 shots. We use PixelShift combiner, and then we get this. And if I go all the way into 100%, that is an absolutely amazing, incredible amount of detail. You have to remember that this is the size of a wall, and these details are stunning. The color is just incredible, and that's pretty awesome, right? That's pretty amazing. So if we look at the single file that is up-resed, this looks pretty amazing too. And it's much less work. It's this single file was just one shot, and then we take it and we go and do a little bit of sharpening and some a couple different adjustments, and then we use a up-reser to up-res it. And when you look at these compared to each other, it's mostly like some tones and some color differences. The PixelShift one right here is obviously a little bit more rich. The color's better, I think. And then this one, though, is matching it as far as detail goes, which is just the single file that's up-res. This is also an easy one to up-res a little bit because it is a agate. There's a lot of straight lines, and I think up-resing something like, maybe that people would not have preconceived notions of what it is would struggle a little bit. But that's why we're doing these tests, to try to figure this out. So I think that these are both incredible. and they would both stretch to a giant space on a wall somewhere, especially printing them at 100 DPI. But I'd have to say that taking the single file here and up-resing a single file is probably a little bit more time effective than taking something like this and doing the pixel shift and all those different layers. Even though, like, in general, I like the pixel shift better, I don't think that an end user would see that much of a difference between these two files, especially when they're printed, and the print's going to look pretty close, right? So that's what I found out. I think we stretched these pretty far, and we're going to keep doing this and keep stretching the technology that we have. So I hope you enjoyed. Check out the comments if you have any, and we'll talk to you later.